Hello everyone, I'm Josh. I'm here with the Wellspring blog. Today I'm here with Josh from Josh's Water Jobs. Actually, Josh, do you mind if I call you Josh or do you prefer Joshua?
Yeah, Josh is fine, thanks. It's very kind of you to ask.
Well, I wasn't sure. So we're here with Josh to talk about the job search, which at one point or another in our lives, many of us had problems with. So, Josh, have you ever had a problem finding a job?
Actually, yeah, there was one time 5 or 6 years ago where I actually went a full year without finding a job, and that was really tough. And even right now, I'm not very happy with my current situation. So I'm actively looking for my next job.
Right now, you're having a problem finding a job?
It happens.
But dude, you have the list.
Yeah, and that's sometimes what people say the first time when I tell them that I'm looking for a job is that, I have this guy who has this list, and yeah, it's like salt and wound.
Right? So, I mean, do you post the jobs that you apply to, or do you just play a little bit of cash, hide and seek?
No, no, I do believe that you may the best person get the job.
Okay. Yeah, right. Um, so, what are you doing for yourself, and what do you recommend for others when going through a job search?
Well, I do look online. Obviously, I look every week online for jobs for the website, but I look online. But then I am also using my network, the people in my community, my water community, to look for jobs.
Wait, so you actually recommending people not go to Josh's Water Jobs to look for a job?
Well, yeah, I mean it is important to apply to jobs online. It's another way to get your name out there for organizations to become familiar with you. But it's equally important to do this in combination with talking to people, utilizing your network. Most of the jobs that I've gotten over the years have been through people who know me or know of my work. So it's really important to foster those relationships and look through for jobs through your community.
So how do you foster those relationships? How do you do that?
Well, first is to ask advice. It's not about going and asking someone for a job. It's that you ask career advice. There's so much wisdom and knowledge and advice out there that people love. They love to talk. They love to be asked advice. So it's really that's how I do it. Is I go about asking people for advice.
And are you doing that right now? And who are you talking to?
Well, I'm not going to divulge names, but yeah. So I talk to people that I look up to, and people who I feel can give me new insights on my career path, and can maybe point out some blind spots that I have in my own career search.
Come on, who are you talking to?
No, no, no.
So, how do you go about asking people to chat with you about your job search?
Well, it's don't be afraid to talk to anybody. Like I said, people love to give advice. So it's at a conference or through email it doesn't matter how important they are, that definitely reach out to people to talk to them. Um, the worst they can do is they can say no. And most of the time, in my experience, most of the time people do say yes to talking with young professionals.
Like me asking you for this interview? I mean, I was totally nervous to ask you to do this interview. I was like shaking. And look what happened. Yeah, I guess it works. I guess it works. So, what's the best job advice that you've ever received?
It was create your own luck. I had a German advisor in an internship in Argentina many years ago. And it was more of an affirmation of something that I had done where I had created my own luck in the job I was doing. But then it's something that I've ended up living by ever since because you by putting yourself out there, you end up creating opportunities for yourself. You end up creating your own luck.
So, yeah, sounds like a good mentor.
He was. Oh, he was. And yeah, and that's another thing that mentors are. I've always made sure to have a mentor in my life because they can give you guidance and advice on all aspects of your career um, that you might not have readily available. So important. It's always been important for me to have someone there to be able to ask questions to about my career.
And what about insight from your peers? I mean, we're peers, right?
Yeah, something like that. Um, yeah, so definitely from peer-to-peer mentoring is definitely important, and there's more opportunities for that now because you have networks out there like the Water Youth Network and the World Youth Parliament for Water, to name a few, which didn't exist, say, 10, 15 years ago. And so they're really great opportunities to be able to learn from one another, from your peers, but also its support, its guidance, And in the end, you end up also having a lot of fun with these people as well. Because yeah, in the end, it all comes down to building community. I'm not such a fan of the word network or networking. It seems more utilitarian, but it's more about building this community because the people I started working with 20 years ago, I'm still working with now, and some of my best friends in the world are my water friends. Um, and so it's really important to foster that because in the end, you become very close with these people. It is more like a community.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about being a good candidate, or yeah?
I think that learning, especially for international jobs, like learning a language is very
You
important.
mean like learning the French?
Well, not exactly like that, but yes. Um, Learning languages like French and other languages is helpful. It just makes you more competitive and opens doors that you wouldn't have access to normally if you didn't speak these other languages. So yeah, I think it's important.
So I imagine even if you do all this, it's still not automatic that you get a job, even though there's a lot of jobs right now in the water and sanitation.
Yeah, no, it's still difficult no matter what. I mean, so yeah, sometimes it happens super fast, but it requires a lot of patience. And then there's just so many factors that go into to a job search, into an organization hiring. And the trends change, what skills they're looking for are changing. So it's always important to keep on top of those things and just keep your head up and keep putting yourself out there.
Can you talk to us about the difficulties of the job search?
It can be really hard, especially on your ego and confidence when going through search and not finding anything.
So what would you recommend then to someone to, during this process to keep their head up?
Well, I think it's about staying busy, being productive, being useful. It's about you know, finding opportunities where you stay busy, and that can be anywhere from volunteering to interning to writing blogs to writing op-eds. It can be learning new skills, learning languages, starting a website, um, and yeah, it's just about keeping busy, and it's not, this isn't only attractive to a future employer and enhancing your CV, but it just helps keep your spirits up during the job search.
Well, that's a very great note to end on. Thank you very much for your time, Josh. We appreciate you being here. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me, Josh.
You're a pretty cool guy. I think, I think I would hire you.
Oh, it's very kind of you to say. Maybe we can work together sometime.
All right.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening in. That was a little insight into the job search with a humoristic twist. And now moving forward, we're hoping to give you more resources around career development to assist you in your career search. The idea is just to provide resources that will support you and give you hope in looking for your next jobs. Water and sanitation issues are hugely important and impact all aspects of society, so we really need you to stick with it and continue to work in the water and sanitation community. Next week, I'll be doing our first podcast. It'll be an interview with a young professional, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks very much for being a part of the community.